А зараз я би хотів представити Дарена Бланчарда, який розкаже нам, власне, про досвід реального бізнесу. Як розвивається реальний бізнес. Це група Residor Hotel Group. Прошу до слова.
Извините?
Just in case 7 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, okay?
Okay, I'm
Molto grazie.
okay. I prepared a presentation which was considerably longer, and I'm worried about the bell. And I'm sure I won't get as much leeway as the last speaker. So this is going to flick through very quickly. This works as a yeah. Okay. I'm here representing the Carlson Residor Hotel Group. I'm based in the Moscow office of Carlson Residor, and we are developing hotels through the CIS, and Ukraine is a major focus for us. I've been asked today to speak on the question of, is Ukraine an interesting destination for hotel operators? I can answer that very simply with yes, it is. But in order to substantiate that, I just want to show you first of all, who we are and what we've done so far and how we see it going forward. So that's me. Who are we? We are part of Carlson Worldwide. Carlson, together with, alongside American Express, is the largest business travel agency in the world. Carlson is our main shareholders based in Minneapolis. Residor is the hotel arm which looks after hotels in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and of course Eastern Europe as well. That office is based in Brussels. Historically, Residor was part of the SAS airline business, and that's who we are. Who are we in this part of the world? We are the largest hotel operator in the CIS and Baltic countries. We are well ahead of our competitors, nearly twice as many hotel rooms in this part of the world. We are the largest hotel group in Ukraine also. You know us not maybe from Carlson Residor, but you'll know us from our brands. Our key brands are Radisson Blu, of which we have 4 hotels in Ukraine today, and Park Inn, where we have 1 hotel and are developing more. Radisson is our upscale and luxury brand, if you like, 4-5-star. Park Inn is our mid-market brand, if you like, 3-4-star. In terms of brand growth in the region, we have the number 1 brand in the region is Park Inn, number 2 is Radisson, and then our competitors follow us along there. Okay, so is Ukraine interesting for hotel operators? Well, this is where is interesting for us. The key cities are the cities really by population, the large cities by population, and those marked with the green-blue spots show the first cities that we would look at, but we're quite opportunistic, so we'll look in different markets as well. Just to prove that we're interested in Ukraine, we were the first hotel operators to have our brand inside Ukraine, with the Radisson Blu Hotel, which opened 8 years ago on Yaroslavsky Val in Kiev. It was the best performing hotel in our group globally. It was the best performing Radisson in our group globally for 2 years. So it's a very, very successful property. We also now have a second hotel in Ukraine, which is the Radisson in Kiev, which is the Radisson in Podil, in the heart of the old town. We have our resort hotel in Alushta, which has recently been upgraded from 64 rooms to now 209 rooms, has now large conference facilities, and a good 2,500 square meter spa. Additionally, last year, we also opened the Radisson in Bukovel, which has 252 rooms, and again, a large spa and the facilities for skiing. And finally, of the hotels that we have open, just before Euro 2012, we opened the Park Inn by Radisson in Donetsk, in the center of the city. Great location, our first mid-market property on here. Very shortly, in March next year, we will open the Park Inn on Troitskaya Square in the center of Kiev, which is the old sport hotel next to the Olympic Stadium where the football game will be played tonight. So where are we in terms of Ukraine? We're nicely balanced across Ukraine, but we want to thicken that out. As operators total, you see the penetration of the operators is in Kiev, and a little bit is now spreading out into the regions. Of course, I mentioned Radisson and Park Inn in the regions, but our competition, 4 Points, has also opened in Zaporozhye. But in the center, you had its first of all was upscale and luxury brands, and now coming into the market more and more are mid-market and budget hotels. This kind of gives a little history of where we have come from and where we're going. If you see this is the GDP macroeconomic data generally for Ukraine, which shows actually international hotel is only recent phenomenon on the market, and we enjoyed, as I said, this successful years of the Radisson performing at the end of this cycle where Ukraine was doing very well, and then the crisis hit. At the same time the crisis hit, also supply came onto the Kiev market, and so what we saw was a sharp drop in average room rates and in occupancy. Why do operators like Ukraine, or why are we interested in? Well, that's what this forum is here today, talking about the economy of Ukraine. We are interested because business, economy, that drives transient business. The stronger the business is in Ukraine, the more people need to travel both domestically and internationally into the country. Ukraine is a huge country. It's got many large population cities. It's got great economic mineral wealth here, and a very high economic spend as well, which are all factors that drive the business here. Another strong reason, secondary strong reason, is the tourism potential for Ukraine. The Eurovision 2005 and Euro 2012 football really opened up Ukraine to the minds of Europe and international travelers for the potential of tourism here. The Eurovision was when the visa status was opened, and that shouldn't. Thank you. I'll try and be very, very quick now. That shouldn't be underestimated. If you look at some of the competitive markets in this region that don't have this visa opportunity, then you'll understand what the potential is. However, there's some downsides to Ukraine today. One of them would be the airline situation, the lack of low-cost carriers into the country, and this is something that really needs to be changed to drive the tourism business which feeds into the hotels. Just give me a couple of minutes. If you look at cities, if you go today to cities like Krakow or Prague or Riga or Vilnius, then you'll see in the evenings during the week and weekend, you'll see the streets full of people coming from overseas via Ryanair, via EasyJet. Here today in Lviv, you don't see that kind of market driving here. And once that opens, Lviv, I believe, is much more attractive than Krakow or other places. It has great potential. The second side is the marketing of the country. If you look at one of the countries that have marketed themselves very well, Georgia, you just call up on Google search and you say Georgia tourism. The first 5 hits you'll get are 5 purpose developed web links for tourism in Georgia. This particular one is the second one down, and it's really funky. You click on these buttons and you'll get beautiful pictures that really stimulate you to come to Georgia. They've done a fantastic job right across the board. If you look at Ukraine and you put in tourism Ukraine into Google search engine, then you will get mostly Wikipedia, Lonely Planet. You will not get dedicated websites for Ukraine. This particular website that I'm showing now is the only dedicated website in the top 10 hits that you will actually get. And it's actually a USA, Washington-based website that's promoting Ukraine. But it's 5 years out of date. Much of this information is, and you can also see by looking at the slide, it's not cool. Yeah, who wants to go to Ukraine on this basis? This is, so what we need to do, or what Ukraine needs to do to really drive hospitality, is to support Valentina and her efforts in driving it, for government, for business to get together and put a proper budget together to promote this, to promote the country. What we do get, I'm English, yeah. Very, very nearly there. I'm English. I read the English press, and the English press attitude to Ukraine is this: England fans hospitalized after attack by 30 knife-wielding Ukrainians, thugs in Kiev coffee shop. This does not inspire people to come to Ukraine, and what needs to be done is the PR for the country needs to be managed much better to help the business to drive more for us. And finally, it is positive. It is positive. We are very interested in this country because of the industry, but for the second pillar, because we have beautiful destinations to promote. Lviv, Crimea, we have the mountains, Carpathians, places like Odessa, the culture, the opera, and of course Kiev as well. So that's the message that I wanted to put together today. As hotel operators, Ukraine is one of our major targets for growth. I would love investors to come and talk to me about new hotels in Ukraine. But that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Darren, thank you. Really thank you for such a presentation. And when you will become in Lviv?
This is a market we've looked at very closely. The barrier to Lviv is actually the beauty of Lviv, and that's a real irony. The beauty of Lviv is that it's got all these gorgeous little buildings, and a hotel operator, to make the economies of scale to build a hotel here, really needs to have 100 rooms, 120 rooms to work. Well, you can't put 100 rooms into these beautiful little buildings in Lviv.
We can help you. Mm-hmm. We really need Radisson in Lviv.
We want to be here. Mm-hmm.
So you must promise here.
Absolutely. We want to be here.
Please do it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. We will.
I have only one question to you.
Mm-hmm.
If we are talking about brand of Ukraine now, so can you say one word that you associate Ukraine with? One word that is associating for you with the word Ukraine. Don't say corruption, you know.
No, I say culture. Absolutely. I think it's really culture. I lived in Kiev for 2 years, and I was able to do something nearly every weekend in Kiev. And around and traveling outside, and that's the beauty of Kiev. It's nice, compact. Today I live in Moscow. Where would I prefer to live? In Kiev. The culture here and the size and the manageability is beautiful.
I believe in a few years you can say Lviv.
Thank you very much. And